After booting up the game for the first time, you will find the select class screen. In Destiny, there is no tank, DPS and support class, so you don't need to worry much about what role you're going to play. First, we have the Titans. They focus on being a little more heavy and putting down barricades. Hunters are more agile and have the ability to dodge. And finally, Warlocks are like the mage class. You have 3 character slots, so you'll be able to create one of each class. After picking your class, you can customize your character. Make sure you do this right since you cannot change it in the future. Once you're done, play through the tutorial. I do have a video playing through the first hour or so, but it's really easy to follow yourself. From now on, I will assume you finish the tutorial and unlock the basic activities. First, let's talk about subclasses. Each character has 3 subclasses, one for each element, plus the one added in Beyond Light. These are Solar, Void, and Arc. To unlock them all, you have to complete their respective quests, which you get in the tutorial. Each subclass has 4 main abilities that work on a cooldown: Class Ability, Melee, Grenade, and Super. In the subclass menu, you can choose different versions of each ability and movement style. Make sure to read the descriptions and try them out. Power level. Power level should be your main focus in terms of character progression. It's calculated by the average power level of all your equipped gear. So this is armor and weapons. You will also get some power level from your artifacts, which levels up as you gain experience, but it resets every season. Each time you launch an activity, you can see its recommended power level. If you go into the activity with a lower level, then you will have a hard time. What happens if I get a piece of gear of higher level that I don't want to use? Always keep in your inventory the highest piece of gear you got in that slot. Even if you're not using it, the game will use it when calculating the power of your next drop. Here I have this blue armor that is higher power level than the one I'm using. Since I don't want to equip it, I just leave it in my inventory. There is a system for transferring power which is called Infusion. I will cover that later. Gear Rarity. There are 5 tiers of rarities: Common, Uncommon, Rare, Legendary, and Exotic. You will mostly see Rare and Legendary gear, so that's blue and purple. Expect your character to be fully equipped with legendaries before too long. They are not at all hard to get. Let's cover the weapons and armor first, and then I'll come back to exotics. To talk about weapons, we need to talk about the 3 different types of ammo: primary, special, and heavy ammo. Primary weapons use primary ammo, which is the most common type of ammo. You should always have one of these equipped to make sure you don't run out of ammo constantly. Some examples are hand cannons, scout rifles, pulse rifles, and so on. Special weapons use special ammo. Special ammo is a little harder to come by and you can carry less of it. These weapons are generally more powerful than primaries. Here we can find snipers, shotguns, fusion rifles, and more. Finally, heavy weapons use heavy ammo. Heavy ammo is a tad more scarce, but they hit harder than any other weapon. You generally save heavy ammo for tougher enemies. Some examples are rocket launchers, swords, and machine guns. Let's take a look at weapon slots. The first slot is for kinetic weapons. Kinetic weapons deal kinetic damage, which means they are not attached to any element. Here is where the confusion might come in. Both primaries and special weapons can be of kinetic damage. The second slot is for energy weapons. Energy weapons deal elemental damage, so that's solar, arc, or void. Again, both primaries and special weapons can be of the energy type. The last slot is for heavy weapons. Heavy weapons always have an element attached, so this one is simple. Note that elemental weapons always drop with the same element. So for example, the Last Perdition pulse rifle will always be a void weapon. Weapons drop with different roles. These change the behavior and stats of your weapon. For example, here is Rampage, which gives you a boost to weapon damage after you get a kill. Since you're just starting, read through the different roles you get and try to figure out what fits your playstyle. Of course, you can search for more advanced guides on roles if you want. Weapon stats are shown on the right side of the inspection screen. You can hover over each of them to read the description. Weapons also have a masterwork mod. It will increase one of the weapon stats. You can upgrade it by using materials. Right next to it you will find a mod socket. This helps you further improve your weapon by, for example, increasing the magazine size or reducing the recoil. Armor. The armor pieces are helmet, gauntlets, chest, legs, and class item. Each piece of armor grants you a certain amount of stats. There are 6 stats in Destiny. Mobility for moving faster and jumping higher, resilience for taking more damage before dying, recovery to start regenerating your life faster, discipline for grenade cooldown, intelligence for super cooldown, and strength for melee cooldown. You should choose your armor according to the stats. The main stats to focus on is recovery, so prioritize recovery until you figure out what your character needs, but don't worry too much about it. The max amount of points you can have in each stat is 100, and their effects apply each 10 points you get, so having 50 or 59 recovery is essentially the same. Armors also have mods. They can be equipped to boost the armor stats, improve the reload speed, increase the ammo you can carry, etc. Some mods are specific to a piece of armor, so the reload speed mod is only available on gauntlets, while the movement mods are available only for legs. Armor mods have an energy cost, so you need to have enough free energy to equip them. You can increase the armor energy up to 10 by upgrading it with materials. Once you reach 10, the armor is fully masterwork and now grants +2 to every stat. Fully upgrading a piece of armor is really expensive, so make sure the armor you're upgrading is worth it. These are generally armor pieces with at least 60 total stats. Ghost shells. The different ghost shells are just cosmetic, but they do have mods. Make sure to at least equip an experience mod which will allow you to level up faster. Experience levels up your seasonal artifact as well as your season pass. Yeah, there is a season pass. Let's go back to exotics real quick. Exotic items are unique items that have some special trait to them, and they look and feel completely different to any other item in the game. You are limited to have one exotic weapon and one exotic armor equipped at any time. They are obtained through exotic quests, random drops, or by buying them from Sir. Sir is an NPC that only appears from Fridays to Tuesdays in a semi-random location. You can either look for him or, you know. There are a lot of exotics. You can see them all in the collection tab under exotics. The directory can be found under the destinations tab. From here we can launch any activity in the game. Planets are free roam areas where you will go to complete patrols, lost sectors, and planet specific bounties. At the center of the directory we can find the core playlist, which consists of 3 activities. First, we have Vanguard Strikes, which are 3 players PvE missions. The Nightfall is a harder strike that changes every week. Next is the Crucible. This is the PvP mode, with different game modes. Note that your power level doesn't matter in PvP, so don't be afraid to jump in. The third core activity is Gambit, a mode with both PvP and PvE components. The tower is the central destination. It's a social area where you will find most NPCs, and so you will find yourself constantly going back to get bounties, decrypt engrams, and buy stuff. Okay, so let's quickly go over the main NPCs in the tower. The postmaster is there in case you missed a drop or your inventory was full when you collected an engram. Severus runs the cosmetic store. Zavala is the Vanguard NPC. His main focus is strikes, so make sure to pick up his bounties before doing strikes.
Requisition approved.
To his right is Shax, he's a Crucible NPC. He focuses on the PvP playlist, so same thing here, buy his bounties before jumping into PvP. Banshee is a gunsmith, he's all about weapons, mods, and some materials that we will cover later. Master Rahul is a cryptarch, talk to him to decrypt your engrams. Hawthorne is the clan NPC.
Hey.
You can try and join a clan through the Banshee webpage or asking someone in-game. It's kind of a mess, but it gives you some extra rewards, so it's worth it.
Okay?
The Drifter is the Gambit NPC. He focuses on the Gambit playlist, so yeah, Bounties. You will notice that some NPCs allow you to trade materials or tokens for reputation. In exchange, they will give you some loot. So, from the NPCs you can get bounties. Don't stress over the bounties, but make sure you pick them up since they are the main source of XP. Over at the quest tabs, you can check out your bounties, and even track them so they show up when you take out your ghost. Under quests, you can find more interesting stuff, like story missions, missions that unlock stuff for your character, exotic quests, etc. Some NPCs also have weekly challenges, through which you can earn powerful rewards. Powerful rewards will give you loot higher than your current average power level. Alright, Infusion. Infusion is the system that allows you to increase the power level of your legendary and exotic gear. So going back to the chest example, I have this 1221 chest as my main chest, and just dropped a 1226 chest that I don't want to use. If I inspect my purple chest under Infuse, we can see that I have the option to sacrifice the 1226 blue chest in order to get my current chest to its level. Infusion takes upgrade modules, so be careful not to overdo it. Basically, wait until you are at the points where activity is required, higher level gear, and you don't want to go in with equipment you don't like just because they are high level. The seasonal power cap is the maximum power level you can reach in the current season, while the power limit is the maximum power level this item will ever be able to reach. Also remember that items can only be infused with other items of the same slot, so a kinetic weapon can only be infused with another higher level kinetic weapon. Currency and materials and consumables, and yeah, you get the point. First of all, in Destiny you don't have to worry about farming pretty much any currency or material, just play the game and you will be fine. Currencies can be found at the top right of the character screen. Glimmer is the most common currency, it's like gold in other games. You get Glimmer by doing literally anything and use it for everything. Don't worry about it, you will have enough. In any case, you can equip an extra Glimmer mod in your ghost if you for some reason need it. Legendary shards, you get them from dismantling legendary gear, which you will do a lot once you are a bit into the game. Again, don't worry about it, just play the game. Silver is a premium currency, only used for cosmetics. Bright Dust is also for cosmetics, but you can get it from completing daily bounties. In the inventory tab, you can find consumables and materials. Even I don't know what most of these do, so don't feel too bad if you're lost here. Anyways, the relevant ones are planetary materials, you get them from completing activities in said planet or by collecting them manually. Tokens are attached to an NPC, you get tokens by completing said NPC's activities. You can trade them in for gear. Upgrade modules are used for Infusion, an easy way to get them is buying them from Banshee at the tower or completing his bounties. Enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, and ascendant shards are used to increase the masterwork level of your gear. Enhancement cores are pretty common, while ascendant shards are extremely rare. The spider is an NPC you can find at the Tangled Shore. He trades and sells a lot of materials, so definitely pay him a little visit. Back at the tower, we have the Bolt. As you get loot, your inventory will fill up with items you don't want to dismantle. For the items that you're not currently using but would like to keep around, there is the vault. The vault is shared between characters, so if you decide to start a new character, make sure to transfer over your high level weapons to get a boost and increase the average power level of the new character. But coming back to the tower all the time to use the vault is really annoying. Here is where we should talk about Destiny Item Manager, DIM, which is a browser extension that allows you to send stuff from and to your vault no matter where you are. This will save you from going back to the tower all the time. There is no way I will play Destiny without something like this, so make sure you either have DIM or an alternative. There are also mobile apps that do this, including the official Destiny app. Okay, getting close to the end. The exotic archive can be found at the tower next to the vault. Here you can buy some exotic weapons that were obtainable in previous seasons. They are pretty expensive, but some of them are worth it, like Iriana's Bow, a special hand cannon that is really effective against champions. Okay, so we haven't covered gameplay and I am going to do a gameplay tips video, but I guess this one is really important and I cannot believe it's not in the tutorial unless I missed it. Some enemies have shields. Shields are weaker to elemental damage, no matter the type. But if you match the element of the shield when destroying it, the enemy will take more damage and create an AoE shockwave.